Hey, so this is a little update. We had a pretty gnarly rainstorm here back in towards the end of May, and I got pretty well flooded out of everything down here in my range. I had standing water about nose to over my head height, so 5.5 to 6 foot standing water back here. So figured I'd take a little tour. I have spent most of this summer now rebuilding things, and wanted to kind of show off how my little range area has changed. So if you remember over here, that's where I had all the trees piled up that I had pulled out from this lane where I pushed back to make a 100-yard range down in this area. So I had all these trees piled up, and they were about where those railroad ties are at now, and it pushed them all the way up to about here where I'm standing now. So it was pretty destructive. Anyways, piled up all the trees, burnt them out, and then spent several months or a couple weekends getting these railroad ties pulled over here, stacked up. And then my dad had this idea, so we got them secured down, so hopefully they don't float away anymore. I've still got a little more target rearranging to do. This was another, had a pile of trees back behind there, cut it down. Now over here, I was getting quite tired moving railroad ties and stacking them up. So I came up with this idea to change positions of where my little plate rack is. So now from here, you can shoot at the plate rack, and you've got a backstop. And then on the other side of the tree here, you can shoot spinner or Texas Star and still have a bit of a backstop. So that's probably going to have to be moved. We were possibly going to get another pretty impressive rainstorm here a couple weeks ago, so we tried to finish off this project and get these tied down, but apparently we got a bit of a sinkhole down here, so they lost all their tension. Oh well, more work to be done. Seems like this is turned into one of those projects where I get one thing finished, I think up something else that I want to do, and pretty much never reach a stopping point here. But it's kind of cool. At this point, I've got a lot of different options that I have. Like, I can set up multiple little stages and run little practice matches. Haven't been over here, check this area in a little while. Luckily, through all the stuff that got washed away, a lot of it was just pallets and cardboard that I scrounged up from work. Over here, I had just finished building a little stage where I've got a couple little targets there, some of these little tiny knockover steels, and plan was we were going to put some pallets or railroad ties back behind there to have a backstop, because those little guys hit those and they'll fly a pretty good ways. But I did have a 2x4 with three little knockdown targets on it, and the 2x4 floated away, so that's gone. So I lost one 2x4 with 3 targets on it. I can't remember how much those were, 20-30 bucks a piece, I think, from Double Alpha Academy. So kind of bummed about that. I'm hoping that after we get a freeze and the foliage starts to hibernate for the winter, I'll be able to go down and walk the creek further downstream. It goes through a couple of S-turns as it heads further south from where I'm at. So hopefully I'll get down there and things will turn up. I'll find that. I also lost 2 little tables, but you know, not too bad for everything that happened. A lot of trees got washed down here and they pushed down some of these targets. So I just had to push the trees out of the way and re-stake the T-posts in the ground and set them back up. So my little steel challenge stage, that survived pretty well. It was so wild that the force of the water flowing through here, this is typically a slow moving kind of a flood area. So when it rains, if the creek further south like fills up and starts to back up, it'll just back up the North Fork of the Red River and then back up into the little creek here that feeds it. Well, this, and it'll kind of back up from the south heading up to the north. This ended up being such a massive amount of water that it actually flooded from the north and pushed water down to the south. So it knocked down my Texas Star. Most of my targets that were standing got knocked over just from the force of the water, but like everything down here survived pretty well. So this is my longer range stuff. I've got, you know, Evil Roy, just a little standard silhouette, and then I just got this put together. Ooh, wow. I just noticed that. So that was probably when I had a paper target in front of this. So I bet you from that target stand when I was sighting in my rifle, I sent one right through that. Oh well, stuff happens. But after I sighted in, I hit that 3 shots, 3 hits from 200 yards. So I'll take that. I was using a bench, a little portable bench, and kind of supported there, but you know, there's my little targets hanging out there. It's coming along. Like I said, I've kind of learned what can be a problem. So I know my idea of holding on to all these trees that I had pulled and cut down, I was going to try and mulch them with like a big commercial mulcher and then spread that mulch around on the ground. That way to have a more solid surface to walk on. When we did get small rains, we wouldn't be walking through mud, and it would help to keep the weeds from growing up, having a little bit of ground cover so it didn't get as much light. But that idea, I'm glad I didn't get time to do that, because it would have washed all of that mulch away if I had actually done that, and that would have been quite a chunk of money just wasted and washed away. So, you know, try to look on the bright side of things. It turned into quite a project to rebuild afterwards, but I got to see where the weak points of what I had done last year were, so got to rebuild it a little bit stronger. Like I said, just missing one target from here, but I've got plenty of other targets. Not like I'm at a shortage of things to shoot at, but I walked through probably 1.5 miles worth of the trees next to the creek. Oh, I just walked through a spider web and did not have any luck finding my target or my 2 little tables. So went ahead and replaced my tables from Academy. So figure if I find my other 2, you know, I'll be a little bit ahead. Over here, my little storage area that I built up, the idea was to keep stuff dry. But you can see there's mud underneath there. This pallet corner, this was over to about here, and it was pushed back about there. So I lifted the whole thing up and pushed it back and to the left. This little step from an old hot tub I have. It's all drilled together now. It was just set up here with loose pallets. These pallets I found caught in the trees there right before they went down into the creek. You can kind of see all the buildup of all the brush around here. So luckily those caught between that tree and that tree, caught those pallets. That little miniature step for my hot tub actually found across the creek under some of this kind of trash on the other side there. I thought it was a pallet, started to dig it out, and boom, turned out to be my little step. And that thing's heavy and it was still wet, so that was quite a pain. I don't know if this little GoPro will pick it up, but you can kind of see over there, there's still a bunch of like just this trash, driftwood and stuff. It is probably 2 feet deep in some areas over there on the other side of the creek. So I'm hoping that those trees caught the stuff that I'm missing. So, you know, if I'm out 1 2x4 with 3 little targets, I think I can make do with that. But like I said, I got my big tables. They were found, but I was missing 2 of these, so went ahead and replaced them. Since I found out that it, you know, washed away all these pallets, I since rebuilt this, screwed them all together so everything's connected to each other, and then went ahead and threw a couple of stakes down. So hopefully next time it won't wash it away again. So this is kind of wild. This tree right here, I found one of my steel targets right in that little cubby hole from the Texas Star. That's about 30 yards over there. I think what happened is like a log came and bumped the Star, started to knock it over. One of the plates fell on the log, and then it floated over here until it bumped into this tree and dumped it over. That's the only thing that makes sense, because all 4 out of those 5, they were all right underneath it. But then after I started cleaning stuff up, found it down there. You can see in this tree, that break right there, that was a big limb. Wow, that was some crazy sounding animal. Gave me a good scare. But it broke that limb, so cut it off, put it in the pile over here, burnt all that up. Once it got down to ashes, I just went and scooped it with skid steer bucket and dumped it all back over here. So that'll, you know, work its way into the soil and it'll be gone eventually. Pretty well all my targets on T-posts, they got washed down. So it turned into quite an ordeal. But my tire backstop worked pretty well. I had to add a few more scoops of dirt. So filled that guy back up. That 2x4 is taking a beating. That guy's taking a hole right through it. So just gonna keep running it till that 2x4 falls down. Got a replacement ready to go. I had a paper target in front of here, trying to get sighted in on my rifle with some different ammo. But I'm gonna get that guy thrown back up here. So anyways, my summer that I was planning to, you know, get out and practice more turned into a summer of rebuilding and trying to come out in the evenings on the weekends when I can. So it has turned into a ridiculously hot summer here in southwest Oklahoma, like painfully hot days. And after that rainstorm, we didn't get any more rain until about a week and a half ago. We finally got a little shower, or no, I guess 2 weeks ago now. So it's been a long dry summer, but gave me time to get everything rebuilt. and just wanted to make kind of a little update video, show you what's been going on and why I have not had time to edit any more cool videos. But I'm hoping I'm just about done now with all the rebuild work, and we should be coming up to getting started on making some other cool videos. I've got a few ideas, so hopefully I'll get to start working on those now that it's finally not over 105 every day. So we're in the mid 90s now. I'll take that anytime. Alrighty, thanks for hanging out, and keep watching. I'll have more stuff coming soon. See ya.